Hey everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Recapping Space and Time. I am your friendly neighborhood soda, joined always as by the companions on the TARDIS with me, Ben Rayner, 50 Shades of Grey, and Jess from down under in New Zealand. How are you guys doing?
I like how he's 50 Shades of Grey now.
Yeah, it's not the first time.
Slip.
It's not the first time that this happens.
Well, you also change your name every week, man. It's hard to
No, you
keep
just
up.
call him 50 Shades. He doesn't change that.
Yeah, true.
I always try to say the full one, but this one it came out as a Freudian slip of 50 Shades of Grey because apparently that's what's on the mind, and I need to have a lie down. No, we are here. We are finally on the Peter Capaldi era of Doctor Who, which is where I stopped when I was doing my original run. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but there's going to be some thoughts.
Not this guy. This guy.
There's going to be some thoughts. There's probably going to be a few rants. Looking at you, 50. Overall, it's going to be an interesting episode because from our group chat, this season sounded like it was pretty divisive.
I'll be honest right now, spoiler. I don't have any honorable mentions because
I have one.
There's only so many episodes I actually liked in this one.
I have one, and you guys are going to hate me.
Great.
Oh, God.
I think as the main Doctor Who aficionado on the stream, I think I can say this openly. This is easily, without a doubt, by far, the roughest single season of any Doctor ever. And that includes the classic ones. That includes, like, the main Colin Baker season, which was problematic in and of itself. That includes the last couple of Sylvester McCoy seasons. This is, without a doubt, even includes the first Whittaker series. This is, in my opinion, without a doubt, one of the hardest seasons to get through for any type of fan. Which is kind of weird because I consider the follow-up season is one of the best. So
the thing I noticed about this is I think there's a lot of good individual episodes, but the overall story arc,
yeah.
But it did give us a great character, though. It really did.
Yeah. The Doctor episode, right?
No, Missy.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
I was trying to figure out who you were talking about.
Yeah,
I was
I figured it out as he said it, and I was like, shoot, why did I think that?
No,
it sure as hell ain't Danny Pink. Sure as hell ain't Clara frickin' Oswald.
Yeah. Okay, well, we have plenty of time to get into.
Yeah, because oh boy, we expect another clip out of a 50 Shades of Rant. I
really hate this. I thought nothing would make me make Shanky and Mickey. That's all I will say. Going into this.
Very low bar.
Yeah.
Okay, so who wants to start us off this week?
I'll start off with my number 5.
Mm-hmm.
Flatline.
Yes, that's my number 5.
Punt.
Okay.
So my number 5 is Time Heist.
Ooh. Slight punt.
Okay. Jess.
What?
Oh, sorry. It's been a few weeks. Is it just me and Ben doing our list, and you guys are telling us where they are?
Yeah, that's
okay.
how we did it last time.
It's been a few weeks. It's been a rough few weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ben, what is your number 4?
My number 4 is the season finale. Live in Heaven.
Okay, I actually don't have that on my list.
I'm just watching 50's reactions.
Yeah, this is gonna be a 50. Have you had a few shots of alcohol?
I feel like you're watching his rage meter just slowly bubble.
You better not have my least favorite episode anywhere near your list.
I know which episode it is,
and
I'm going to spoil it for you because it seems like I'm the only one with an honorable mention. I'm going to tell you, I put The Forest on the Dead on my honorable mentions.
And The Forest of the Night, and it's not the one I'm referring to, but okay.
Because believe it or not, yeah, it's weird having the Doctor be a babysitter, but if you just take that episode on its own, I found it enjoyable from start to finish as an episode. That's just
Okay,
me.
but I want to explain my number 4.
Sure.
I'm doing only the second part. The first part I find really rough and hard to get through. But
Okay.
in the second part, after the reveal of who Missy is and what happened with Danny Pink and everything else that comes from that, I think it's incredible.
I agree. And like Jess and I were talking about this when watching the episode. It's like it's sad what happens to Danny, but it's because we didn't really have much to go on with him. It didn't have the emotional gut punch that they were expecting you to have.
It
Right.
felt empty. It felt
It
like
did.
trying to kill off a character to try and evoke emotion that wasn't really there for him in the beginning.
Yeah.
But I love that scene of him and Clover in the cemetery. When
Right.
he,
Exactly.
and that, I think that is all brilliant. The Doctor, if they play it great, I didn't find this. I love the back and forth of the Doctor and Missy. I just think
Mhm.
Mm.
any
You
type
got
of
some good
master,
chemistry, those two.
Oh,
any
Missy
type
is
of
such a
master
delicious
is doing.
cup.
Yeah. And I can, for myself, I can remember the first time I watched it, and okay, you get this character right at the very end of Deep Breath, and you spend the entirety of the season trying to figure out who that character is,
Well,
and I
yeah,
had all
she
sorts
says
of
she's the doctor's girlfriend, and you're like, is this an incarnation of River?
yeah, that's what I thought. But
Yeah,
then I was
that's
like,
what everyone thought at the
no,
time.
because River can't regenerate anymore. Is it the Ronnie? But the Ronnie was never in anywhere, shape, or form the Doctor's girlfriend or anything. Who could it be? And then
Mm.
and then she says her name is Missy, and then right at the end he asks her, "Who are you?" She's like, "It's Missy. It's short for mistress." Well, I couldn't very well keep calling myself the
No.
Master. Now
Oh,
could I?
she
I mean,
eats up this. She chews up the scenery in like the best way possible.
yeah.
So let me ask you guys, because I don't know myself. Which master do you prefer, him or her?
Okay, so based because right now I've only seen like a little. I know there's a lot more Misty coming up, but based on what I've seen so far, I'm gonna go with the John Sim version just because I've already got a complete story with him that I can compare that to. I'll let you know. I'll let you know once I actually see more of Missy because really this first season is all I've ever seen of her, but I know what she goes on to do.
Mm.
How about you, 50?
Well, when it comes to the Master, it's. I mean, my favorite is gotta be the original Roger Delgado.
Yep.
But Sim really does give him a run for his money. Not a
Mm.
winnable run, but a run nonetheless. Missy might be my number 3 all time.
Okay. So you want me to do a
Jess?
plot synopsis then? Oh yeah, after
Yeah,
Jess
we
gets
didn't
her
ask
opinion on
Jess.
it. So
Yeah,
sorry.
yes, how
I
about
I
you?
agree with Soda. I haven't seen enough of her to really have an opinion on her
Okay,
yet.
that's fair.
I can definitely circle back once she's done her run and give my opinion.
Right,
I
but
do like a female counterpart
yeah, and
because it
from what
adds a
I've seen
different
so
element to
far,
the Doctor Master relationship.
and what we've seen so far, she's nailing it.
Yeah. And she continues to nail it right up till her final scene, which we will get to eventually.
Okay.
So I'm going to do the synopsis, but I'm going to do the synopsis for both, so we have context for the second part, if that's okay. So
Okay.
starting off with Doc Water, while Clara attempts to gain the courage to tell Danny about her life with the Doctor, Danny is killed. Clara attempts to blackmail the Doctor into saving Danny, and the Doctor removes her from the dream state he placed on her and uses the TARDIS's telepathic interface to find Danny. The Doctor and Clara are brought to the 3W Institute, in which skeletons are contained in a blue liquid called dark water that hides the exoskeletons that support the skeletons. In an apparent afterlife called the Nether Sphere, Danny's being consoled by Seb for his death. Missy greets the Doctor and Clara, and the scientist Dr. Chang explains the dead are conscious. Meanwhile, Missy awakens the skeletons and the tanks begin to drain. Clara talks with Danny, but Danny refuses to let her be with him in death. The skeletons are revealed to be Cybermen, and Missy tells the Doctor that dying minds are uploaded to the Nether Sphere, a Time Lord hard drive. where emotions are deleted and the mind is downloaded into Cyberman body. The Doctor and Missy exit and find themselves on the steps of St. Paul's Cathedral, where Missy reveals that she is the Master. Cybermen detonate themselves around the British Isles to reincarnate and transform the dead into Cybermen with clouds that rain cyber pollen. Similar events occur all over the world. Danny is one of these Cybermen, and he rescues Clara. Unit bring the Doctor and Missy aboard a plane where the Doctor is inducted President of Earth. Missy overpowers Unit, kills Osgood, and blows up the plane. She reveals she gave Clara the phone number to the TARDIS, which is how explains how Clara called the Doctor in the Bells of St. John. The Doctor,
the woman in the shop.
The woman in the shop. And it turns out she was there a lot. Missy was there a lot to make sure they were stuck together. The Doctor reunites with Clara and Danny in a graveyard where Danny reveals that a forthcoming rainfall will convert all living people into Cybermen. Missy arrives and gifts the Doctor with control of the Cybermen to prove he and Missy are the same. The Doctor refuses and gives control to Danny, who leads other Cybermen into exploding and stopping the rainfall. Missy claims the planet Gallifrey is in its original location. The Doctor threatens to kill Missy to prevent Clara from doing so herself. Missy is seemingly disintegrated by Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart, reanimated as a Cyberman. Clara and the Doctor bid farewell and lies to each other. Clara tells the Doctor that Danny was brought back from the Nethersphere, and the Doctor tells Clara he found Gallifrey. Now, that's the part where, for me, it's like they lying to each other. It's like, come on, you've been through so much.
Yeah.
It's kind of a running theme for this season, though.
There's a lot of as much as you can tell, like they're friends. There's a lot of distrust between the two.
Yeah, and if you actually watch the episode, I think she's at one point talking to Missy or someone, and she says that she literally says that she will never lie to him. And then 5 minutes later, what does she do?
She lies.
Yep. Because
the Doctor not surprised because what does the Doctor do? The Doctor lies. That's rule number one of the Doctor.
Only because Stephen Moffat says so, but okay.
Well, yeah, it's his show to run, so of course he says so.
Yeah, in that particular time of the show, which has gone on for decades, just saying, you know.
What did you guys think of the Lord of the Rings moment in the first part? The Mount Doom moment when Clara brings.
Oh, that's what you meant.
Yeah, I'm like
that drove me crazy.
What?
Sorry,
the fact that
which moment are you describing?
Her dream. Oh, his dream.
Right.
So, what drove you crazy? The fact that Clara is such a selfish, egotistical bitch who would threaten the Doctor by throwing the TARDIS keys into lava just to get what she wants?
Calm the fuck down!
Sorry, I had to bring it out early.
Yeah, and all she really wants is for him to bring back her boyfriend that she's responsible for killing.
Did you
even though she knows
the relationship though? That's what I struggle with the most. Is I don't believe her when she's utterly heartbroken because she never really seemed that into him.
We didn't get enough time with them.
No, but even still, from almost like the third or fourth episode with Amy and Rory together, you knew how strong their bond was because they were well-written characters and their bond was well-written.
And also, Rory was there from the beginning, as where Danny wasn't.
Yeah, but
so
you
we
can still introduce a character in there and have love displayed well between them. It doesn't have to be that he's there from the get-go. Sure. I'm saying within the first three or four episodes of them being on screen together, you knew how much they cared about each other.
So was this Stephen Moffat trying to capture lightning in a bottle twice, and unfortunately he failed?
The thing about doing something like that is that it takes time, which you should know by now from the Amy and Rory dynamic. Doesn't work as fast as you would expect.
No, because we got 2.5 years with Rory and Amy to build on that, to see the love, the bond that they have. We only had a handful of episodes with Danny Pink,
yeah. And most of them weren't that very good.
No, it's super one-dimensional as well. Super one-dimensional.
You keep comparing them to the Ponds. I compare Danny and Clara more to Rose and Mickey.
Is there a reason why?
I don't know.
I personally don't see the comparison because to me it's two very different sets of characters. Rose very clearly left Mickey hung up to dry, and then it took him a while, but then he got over it. Married a much better character in Martha. Still a bit upset that they're both together now, but I mean, they've been together for years and they have a daughter, and they're raising a daughter together. So who am I to complain?
No, please don't name the Doctor Rose. Or please don't name the daughter
They named
Rose.
her August.
After what?
You're right, Soda.
Yeah, I'm fine. I was just like, please don't name them Rose. Like it was gonna give me a headache.
No, they named her August. Why would they name her Rose?
I don't honor their friend.
Why would Mickey name his daughter after the woman who left him for an alien? And why would Martha name her daughter after the woman that her first crush couldn't get over?
Stranger things have happened in Doctor Who. That's why. It's plausible.
Alrighty. You know what is next?
Okay, so my number 4 is the caretaker.
The silence says it all.
Yeah, no, I honestly I enjoyed the idea of the Doctor being the kooky custodian of the school. I don't know, I just
Hagrid.
Hey, basically he's Hagrid.
Yeah.
Clara ruins it for me. I've got to be honest. Clara ruins that episode for me.
As Clara usually does.
Yeah, she's not so bad. Like is it the Robot of Sherwood?
Hold on.
Is that the?
Yeah, the Robot of Sherwood. Yeah.
In the Robot of Sherwood, I don't find her insufferable, but in this episode in particular, I find her really unlikable.
Yeah, she's not the part I like about the episode. For me, it's all the Doctor stuff.
Yeah. But for me, that's where White doesn't factor into my list, is because she acts super selfishly in this, trying to keep her two worlds apart, and ends up lying to them both.
And that's the thing about this season is just there are so many episodes like that it really was hard to make a list.
It's almost like the theme of this season was dishonesty, and it really bothers me. Bothers me. And the problem is it doesn't stem from the Doctor, because usually a lot of overarching themes are very Doctor-based and whatever's going on with him. Whereas for this, it's Clara driving.
What did I miss?
Dishonesty. I'm complaining about Clara.
Oh, I can't believe I missed that.
Yeah, I was just saying that, like, in the Robot of Sherwood, I didn't find her that insufferable, but in this episode in particular, sorry about my cat, he's decided he wants to groom himself in the corner.
Since you brought up Roberts of Sherwood,
you know what? Hold on.
Let's hold off on Roberts.
Okay.
That is going to be on some lists. So
don't
worry about that. Because believe it or not, there were some great episodes in this season. It's just few and far between. Yeah. Okay, so in the caretaker, hold on. Clara is trying to maintain 2 separate lives, one as the Doctor's companion and the other as a school teacher in a relationship with Danny. The Doctor goes into deep cover as the caretaker at Coal Hill. Tracking the Skovok Blitzer, one of the deadliest machines created, he plans to displace it 1 billion years into the future where no one else can be harmed. Danny accidentally tampers with the Doctor's trap, and the Sokolovox Blitzer is only sent 74 hours into the future, so 3 days. The Doctor learns of Danny's relationship with Clara and Danny about Clara's double life. The Doctor believes that Clara made an error in dating a soldier. When the Skovok Blitzer rematerializes earlier than expected, the 3 work together to trick it into deactivating. Danny warns Clara about the Doctor pushing her into dangerous actions. A disintegrated community support officer awakens in the Promised Land, also called the Netosphere, being greeted by Missy's assistant Seb. Now, here's the thing. Listening to, just reading that, it sounds better than it was executed, if I'm being honest. Like, the concept of the episode, there's nothing wrong with the concept. It's just the execution, the character decisions, particularly on Clara's part.
Mm. It's another one of those episodes that shows just how badly Clara and Danny Pink fuck everything up.
Because the idea of Danny and the Doctor being distrustful of each other, we did see with Rory. We see how that works. We could have actually had some fun with that, but unfortunately, like most of Danny Pink's stuff, they didn't do anything with it.
They could have really made it work with that whole soldier angle, because like you could have really delved into that as a fixture of him losing people and how he doesn't want to lose another person, and it would have been quite a cool parallel. I was saying this to Soda, the conversation that Mr. Pond has with the Doctor, in which he asks about previous companions, and he basically just says, just make sure they come home safe. Imagine if the Doctor had that exact same sort of conversation, and then Danny's like, yeah, she's not going anywhere with you. And he's like, what? This works every time. Like, I've done this before, and it has 100% success rate. What are you telling me you can't? And it would have been quite an interesting dynamic if it's more that he has lost so many people, and like they actually put some depth into him. But it's like, he's a soldier. He doesn't want to, because he's a man of war. And it's like, well, actually delve into it more of an actual complex character thing, as opposed to like, well, he was a soldier, so...
And can I just, as a former soldier myself,
can
I
one person
just say something? The whole handling of the soldier dynamic was completely mishandled all over the season, because even right from Danny and Clara's first conversation together,
you talking about their date?
Yeah. What?
You talking about their date?
I'm talking about from Into the Dalek, when they first meet. At the school, she sees him sort of soldiering a bunch of the children, and she's like, "Oh, you're a soldier. You train little kids to kill people." I'm like, "That's not. Are we still doing this?"
She's very judgy.
This far into the season.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
even on their first date, she's very judgy, and I'm like, let him like breathe.
Yeah, and also that's not what being a soldier is about. It's about discipline. It's about brothers in arms. It's about sacrifice. Something that you, Miss Clara, should know better than most people. Just saying. But it's about loyalty. It's not just, oh, you're a soldier, you kill people for a living. It's such a one-dimensional, surface-level understanding of soldiering.
And that's where they leave Danny. They don't progress him any further or anything like that. They're just like, okay, well, he's a soldier.
Mm.
And even I gotta say this, even the Doctor kind of pisses me off at times during the season, because and here's the thing,
I agree with you on that.
There's an episode in the follow-up season of Capaldi's era that Ben knows what I'm talking about. It's an episode that perfectly shows why the Doctor hates war, and just that because he's been a soldier himself.
I know what episode you're talking about. I've never seen it, but there's a meme from the very end of that episode where he's lecturing people on war that I've seen. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. And
I mean, it's literally right behind you. He's been, and he even says it in that episode. Sorry if I'm doing spoilers for the next season, but he literally says there, you call this a war, this funny little thing? I fought in a bigger war than you will ever know. I did worse things than you can possibly imagine. So, like, the Doctor knows what it's like to be a soldier. That's why he's so anti-Danny. And he's anti that other woman from the Dalek episode. I just wish he wouldn't have been a soldier. Again, seeing the follow-up season, I understand what he's going through. The execution in these episodes in this season just... he's not selling me on it.
Episode should have happened this season.
You could have written it differently, though. You could have written it more so that the Doctor, because the Doctor's always kind of rejected that part of himself. He doesn't like that part of himself, and like if you did it from an actual proper angle, it could have been that he doesn't like Danny because it's a reflection of the stuff he's done, as opposed to it being I don't like it because you're a soldier, and not ever delving into that.
Yeah, like that. He described 50 should have been done this season to better explain their relationship.
I don't know the episode, so I don't know about the build up to it.
I don't think they should have done it this season. It's just the problem with it in this season, it's all down to the writing.
Yeah.
It's how you present that issue.
Differently. It doesn't have to be that a whole episode has to explain it. You could have actually done it with proper cues. You could have even had the Doctor being like, Clara, I don't like men like that. I've been men like that.
Yeah, you could have. There's so many things they should have done. But 50, I actually even agree with you. I remember while watching this, one of the reasons why I stopped watching was because Capaldi's doctor is an asshole. He's a flat out asshole most of the time.
In the first season, yes.
At that time, it turned me off. Now I'm a little more accepting of it because now after discussions with Clara and all that stuff, I'm like, okay, I kind of can deal with it. But at that time, the doctor really was pissing me off.
Yeah,
they didn't know where to take him. That's the
exactly
problem. None of the writers knew what they were doing with him.
And I guess the main reason I stuck around is because I've already seen all the classic stuff. Guess what? The first Doctor was kind of an asshole too. The sixth Doctor, a lot of one of the main reasons he was fired from the show. One of the first, I think it's the only Doctor to do that, actually get fired from the show, was because his character was an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of problems off camera besides that, but still, people didn't like that version of the Doctor.
I get it. And truthfully, if I were to watch it, I probably would feel the same way because Matt Smith's my favorite because he can be stern when he needs to, but he's wise, he's fun.
I do.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, exactly. This clip.
Dad, I'm 31. I don't have a Christmas list anymore. I do.
Like right there, you can see why you love the Matt Smith's Doctor, but you don't really get that off the bat with Capaldi's.
Yeah,
I think because they were trying to distinguish them. That's the problem. As they went, he can't be like Matt Smith, so they took him down the other end of the scale and missed the mark.
Yeah,
and that's all part of the transition. And that's all part of the transition and the understanding that each Doctor is different in his or her own way.
Teething pains. There is some,
but there's still the Doctor.
Because one thing one thing I realized while watching this is the Doctor is still growing in his own skin watching it this time around. So
that's why
I'm more forgiving of it now than I was then.
That's why I said this to Jess off camera. This is one of my least favorite Doctor Who eras, which I'm calling the training wheels era. Because this whole time he's had Clara whispering in his ear, and he's always going back to Clara, even with the second episode of should he save the Dalek or not. He's going back to Clara, and he's like, I don't know what to do. Tell me what to do. Am I a good man? That's just, it's so frustrating that it took this Doctor so long to come into his own and be comfortable in his new body as the Doctor. And then when you finally get Peter Capaldi as the actual Doctor, we only get it for one season, and he's gone. That's why I think Peter Capaldi, I'm going to say this, Peter Capaldi is not a good Doctor. He's a great Doctor, but he's a very underrated Doctor, and it takes him a while to grow, to become the Doctor that he's
Peter
supposed
Capaldi's
to be.
An amazing actor. I just think he wasn't given the right material to work with.
Agreed.
I think it comes down to the writing, because even the ones that are focused on Clara are weak in terms of writing, especially compared with what we got in the last season. Like last season had some of the best writing, and then you go to this and it's such a dramatic shift. I don't know what happened behind closed doors, but I feel like the writers had no clue how to write this Doctor.
Well, also, you got to remember, Stephen Moffat was taking on so much at this time, because not only did he have Doctor Who, he had Sherlock.
Yeah,
no, he was doing Sherlock way before that.
Was it?
He was doing Sherlock 2009-ish, I think.
Oh, really?
Which is before he even became the showrunner of Doctor Who officially.
Okay, because I know Stephen Moffat has come out and said that like he was getting stretched really thin during this time. Well, okay then, Ben, what is your number 3?
Time Heist.
Nice.
I didn't find this episode really fun. It kind of reminded me of like an Ocean's movie, only with time travel involved.
I'm starting to worry that one of my picks is the one that 50's going to scream at me about. I'm going to wait to see if anyone else says it, but my number 1, I don't know. I'm actually really scared because I'm
no, I'm nervous.
I'm not, because I'm prepared. Okay, so Time Heist. Why is it your number 3?
I didn't know it's a fun episode. It's them going on a heist, trying to take something from a bank, and trying not to get caught. It's a simple, standalone, fun episode that they knew they had no problems with it, in my opinion.
No, it's a very fun episode, and seeing them trying to figure out what the hell is going on, why the memories are erased, and dealing with all these other characters. It is a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. What about you guys? What do you guys think of Time Heist?
Yeah,
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
Me too.
Listen is my number 3.
It's your number 3?
Oh no. I did wonder.
I found that specifically for him for if he's about to go off.
What ties into the Day of the Doctor?
Did it?
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Yeah, it's creepy.
I'm back on
It's
50.
it's like, I'm sorry, 50. Okay, at least it wasn't my number 1. Is it because it centers around Clara?
Probably.
We'll get to it.
Stay on target. Okay, Time Heist. Oh boy, this is gonna get contentious. The doctor's phone. The TARDIS's phone rings in Clara's apartment, and the Doctor and Clara find themselves in a strange chamber, suffering from memory loss, along with Psy, the augmented human, and Cybra, the mutant human. They have been recruited by the architect to rob the bank of Carabraxis. The quartet collect the tools required from their heist before witnessing a mysterious alien named the Teller melt the brain of a criminal with its psychic abilities. Cybra is later caught by the Teller and activates an atomic shredder to dissolve herself, and Psy soon follows her in the same manner. Clara and the Doctor gain access to the vaults of the bank to gain the rewards of their heist and proceed to the private vault after finding Psy and Cybra. The shredders were really teleporters. The Doctor regains his lost memories back from the Teller, revealing himself as the Architect, set up to rejoin the Teller with the only other one of its species, after the bank's director, Madame Carabraxis, regretted leaving the Teller's mate in the vault to die in a solar storm and phoned the TARDIS. The Teller frees its mate, and the Doctor takes the 2 aliens away to live out their lives.
I had so much fun with this episode.
Agreed. It is a fun episode and shows that the Doctor does have a heart. This Doctor has a heart.
Sorry, I'm just watching 50.
2 of them.
2 of them. Yes. Just waiting for 50 to blow his lid. Because, that's basically what it's like when we discuss Clara. Okay, so my number 3 is the fun.
On purpose, 50. I can't help what I like.
I know.
It's okay. It's okay. It's not your fault. The episode sucks. It's okay.
So my number 3 is the other pun from earlier, Flatline.
Okay.
What are you guys' thoughts on this? Because I remember seeing the production pictures for this, going, "What the hell are they doing?" And then watching the episode, I'm like, "Oh, this is actually kind of fun." The Doctor is that Clara is the Doctor's eyes and ears for this. Which I know 50 hates, but whatever.
I mean,
switching.
I'll just say this. Aside from the obvious commentary of the Doctor being this tiny little thing that Clara can just slip into her backpack and carry around while she's pretending to be the Doctor badly, aside from that, I like this episode.
Holy shit. Whoa, we got a breakthrough.
Yeah, and you know why? Why I like this episode so much is because it's very something that's very important about the Doctor. It's something that you have to realize that he tried to talk. I want you to remember that he tried to reach out to understand these creatures, but I think they understand us perfectly, and I think they just don't care. And I don't know whether they're here to invade, infiltrate, or just replace us. And that's what really matters. Now, you are monsters! That is the role you seem determined to play, so it seems that I must play mine. The man that stops the monsters. I'm sending you back to your own dimension. Who knows? Some of you may even survive the trip. And if you do, remember this. You are not welcome here. This plane is protected. I am the Doctor. And I name you the Boneless.
Did anyone notice that 50 did a Scottish accent and it worked? For me, this episode, just the concept is fun. I do like the idea of the doctor's pretty much helpless, so he's got to be carried around. Like I've seen this concept before, and I think it works.
I'm sorry, Cindy, I love the honey I shrunk the tortoise angle in this.
Same.
I find it so funny.
And clearly, my favorite part about this episode is the speech.
Uh,
The doctor
yeah.
finally getting into his own. Finally, he's being the doctor. Despite everything going on, despite the Clara-ness all over this season, the doctor is the doctor finally again. And it's just wonderful to see. It takes a while for it to happen, obviously, but when that moment happens, it's like, mwah. Thank you, Stephen. Finally.
Why were you covering your eyes?
She's looking out for angels, isn't she?
Look like you were scared to say something.
Oh, sorry, I was going to get yelled at again.
Okay.
I'm not yelling.
I know, I'm kidding.
I was only yelling because it's part of the speech.
Yep. Ah. Okay, after arriving, this is actually my favorite part. At the beginning, the doctor drops her off nowhere near where she lives. I love that. I thought that was funny.
Shades of Sarah Jane Smith.
Yep. Arriving in Bristol, the doctor and Clara find the TARDIS has shrunk on the outside. Clara investigates the area, encountering a young graffiti artist named Rigsy, while the doctor stays in the TARDIS until it has shrunk down to a handheld size, theorizing that something was leeching its external dimensions. The doctor tells Clara that the thing they are facing is an alien from a universe with 2 dimensions, which is flattening people that went missing on Rigby's estate. The creatures...
And yes, that exists!
It does?
No, it's the doctor's...
Oh,
playing.
Oh.
sorry.
Yes, that exists! He's so happy to find out that something like that is possible.
The creatures, known as the Boneless, can make 3D objects 2D. Clara, Rigsy, and community service people run from the Boneless into tunnels. The doctor creates a device that can change the dimensions of objects similarly to the Boneless.
It's a Tudis!
Yeah, that was a funny line. It's a Tudis.
It's a Tudis! Oh, why do I even bother?
The doctor turns on siege mode to prevent the TARDIS from being damaged, but leaving him without enough power to deactivate siege mode. The Boneless have also learned to make themselves 3-dimensional and assume guises of the people that they have flattened. Clara has Rigsy trick the creatures into restoring the TARDIS by placing the TARDIS on the other side of a fake door Rigsy painted. The doctor uses his power to send the Boneless back into their dimension. There is just something I want to find out about this, because there is an actor in here that I'm like, he looks so familiar. He looked like...
Also, did anybody notice the number of the train that got turned into a 2D spread on the wall?
9 corners?
No.
No.
It's A113.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I don't
You
get
want to
it.
explain that?
Okay, so A113 is a classroom in a university where most of the Disney and Pixar animators...
Caltech, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. It's where most of them studied in. And that's why in almost every Pixar movie you see the number A113
Somewhere.
show up at some place.
Oh, nice.
And it even shows up in one of the Mission Impossible movies. 4, I believe.
I knew the guy looked fucking familiar. So the guy who's the asshole in this, the asshole coworker,
It's blank.
he was in Batman 1989 as the guy that Batman picked up at the beginning. He said, "I'm Batman."
Batman.
Oh,
That's the guy.
That guy
Seriously,
who looks-
fucking right.
that guy who looks like Bruce Willis a little bit.
A little, yeah, him. Yeah, he was also in Guardians of the Galaxy as the broker.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Yeah.
Oobalibu.
Yep. All right, Ben.
Yeah.
Your numero dos.
Into the dialect.
Not on my list.
I mean, I like the question they asked in this episode. What makes a dialect? outside the Doctors, the Daleks are my favorite characters in all of Doctor Who, I think. They're so interesting, they're so scary, they're so creepy, yet they're so funny at times, and I just love them, you know. When the Doctor leaves and sees inside the Dalek, you see what's wrong with him.
Mm.
I just found fascinating.
Mhm.
I just found the whole episode really fascinating.
And it
What
shows
do you
us an intricate look at how Daleks operate, not just internally, but just mentally. It's how they
Mm.
live.
Yeah, and the question repeated in the episode is there such a thing as a good Dalek?
Dalek is a Dalek.
A Dalek is a Dalek.
Yeah, and even when a Dalek goes after trying to kill the Daleks, still his ultimate goal is genocide.
Mhm.
So, like I said, there's no such thing as a good Dalek. A
No.
Dalek is a Dalek.
The Dalek said to the Doctor, "You're a good Dalek."
Yeah, you're a good Dalek, yeah.
Yeah.
Clara asks fellow Coal Hill schoolteacher and former soldier, Danny Pink, out for a drink. The Doctor brings Clara to the human rebel ship Aristotle to help the good Dalek Rusty, despite the Doctor's contention that Daleks cannot be turned good. The Doctor, Clara, and a team of rebels from the Aristotle are miniaturized and sent into Rusty, where the Doctor repairs Rusty's power cell, but it reverts to its old way of thinking and forgets the memory of seeing the beauty of a star being born that had made it want to destroy the other Daleks. It sends a message to the Dalek mothership, giving the other Daleks the rebel ship's location. Clara awakens Rusty's memory of seeing the star being born, and in an attempt to show Rusty the beauty of the universe, the Doctor connects his mind with Rusty's. Rusty, however, sees the Doctor's hatred for the Daleks and decides to exterminate its own race. The Doctor turns down the surviving soldier journey's offer to travel with him. I love how they just completely like, this happened with Danny Pink. That's all we need to talk about.
Yeah. Obviously, my least favorite part of the episode is the Doctor's like, well, I was right. There's no such thing as the good Dalek. We can move on. And then Clara just slaps him. It's like, it's okay. Again, it's a problem with the writing. It's something that the Doctor should have figured out on his own. And he didn't need Clara to be around there and just smack him like an angry mother. And that's what the main thing I hate about this season as a whole is how much Clara continues to mother the Doctors to the point where we'll get to that in
Just a bossy little
Jess's-
know-it-all.
Jess's number 3.
No, overall, it's a good episode. I like the thing that didn't work for me is how episodes tried to parallel the base story, the B story, where this one they tried to kind of parallel the Danny and Clara's thing with the Dalek, and it didn't quite translate, didn't work.
Nope.
No, like I mean, I like that. I like the idea of what they were doing with Danny and Clara, and I like the Dalek stuff, but together they just don't fit. Okay, so my number 2 is Mummy on the Orient Express.
Mine too.
And Mountain Crest.
Yeah, it's a fun episode. It's a whodunit.
Episode.
Yeah, it's a fun episode. It's a whodunit episode modeled clearly off of Agatha Christie's Murder on the Orient Express, and I like the angle they took with it. A train in space where people are dying from seeing a mummy.
There are many trains called the Orient Express, but only one of them is in space.
Yep.
Mhm. And as is revealed in this episode, the Doctor has actually been invited multiple times to come aboard the Orient Express, and he's ignored it every time. And it even was mentioned once. It was in a Matt Smith episode. I just can't remember which Matt Smith episode it was. Where at the very end it's like, oh, I've been invited to go on the Orient Express. Don't need to go. Yeah. Clara rejoins the Doctor for one last outing before she leaves the TARDIS and the Doctor. They arrive at a train which travels through space. Yeah. Which is modeled after the Orient Express. The Doctor discovers that an elderly woman called Mrs. Pitt has recently been murdered by a mummy only she could see. When other occupants die in the same way, the Doctor realizes that the mummy, identified as a legendary entity called the Foretold, is invisible to all but the one about to die. Once it is seen, it kills its victim in exactly 66 seconds. The train's computer program, Gus, reveals to the Doctor that he has tasked him to capture the Foretold. The Doctor discovers that it is a dead soldier powered by shape-shifting technology with unfinished business, or with phase-shifting technology, sorry. The doctor discharges the soldier by surrendering, and the train's occupants are saved. The doctor uses the phase-shifting technology to teleport the train's occupants to safety, and after a conversation with the doctor about whether or not he really is cold-hearted, Clara decides she's not ready to leave him yet, and they set off on further adventures together.
I'm going to lie to my boyfriend now.
Yep. That's the only pitfall of this episode, is lying to Danny.
Why?
But we're meant to root for them. We're meant to think that
Yeah.
they desperately love each other.
It's like it's almost like with Clara, it's like one step forward, 20 steps back.
Yep, that's Clara for you.
Hmm.
And I gotta say this: I hate this whole "will they, won't they" dynamic with Clara and the Doctor. It's like what happened in to the moon, and she was like so mad. Oh, I'm leaving you now. You're gonna be alone now. I'm gonna go with my Danny Pink. And then she literally comes back the next episode, trying to convince herself to stay. And then she stayed.
Like how long after?
I don't know, but it's this stupid idea of just Stephen Moffat refusing to give up on the character. Right. It's just, okay, he's writing her out of the show now. Nope, he's not. She's coming back in the next episode. And she's staying for the long run. And even at the end of this season, okay, after what happened in A Death in Heaven, when it looks like Clara's finally gone for good, she shows up in the Christmas special.
Yeah.
And she's back with the Doctor the next season. And we'll get to next season eventually, but it's the constant... Clara's leaving. No, she's not. Clara's leaving now. Now she's not. Now she's leaving again. Now she's back again. And it's just,
it's a
make up your damn mind, Stephen.
It's very codependent.
Not the Doctor on her. I think that
but
the Doctor...
on one-sided codependency.
In a little bit of Stockholm syndrome.
Is it?
I will say though, what I did like about this episode is it's what I love the fact that it was, for the majority of it, it was just Clara locked inside a room with a coughing while the Doctor was left outside to do
leave her in the
actual
room. That's fine.
doctoring stuff. Like, that's good. Keep doing that. Keep doing...
could happen. She could die.
Yeah, just keep Clara locked away in a box somewhere that we don't have to look at her too much, and just let the Doctor be the Doctor. Just keep her in her place, in her little dog house, and just, focus on the Doctor for once. The show is called Doctor Who, not Clara Who, as you try to push on us in the final episode by putting literally Clara getting first billing at the finale of the episode.
Calm the fuck down.
And it's Clara's eyes showing up in the thing.
Really?
You did not notice that?
No, because I skipped the intros.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
why? It's Clara says, "I'm the Doctor," and then the intro starts. The intro starts.
When I watched that, I was like, "50's going to have a field day with this."
Anyways,
maybe she gets announced as the next Doctor.
I mean, she can't now.
Dead serious question. Would that end your Doctor Who watching days?
No, because I'm in it for the long run. I didn't watch 30 seasons of the show twice to give up because of one actor.
Okay, so you don't hate her that much. You just hate her a little bit.
I just hate the way they what they did with the character. It was fine in the beginning, but it just grew up to be an insufferable part of Doctor Who for me.
Like if they were, just for shits and giggles, were to bring Jenna Coleman back as the next Doctor, it wouldn't be Clara, because as we've seen,
it would be the Doctor.
It would be the Doctor, because as we've seen, he's taken on the faces of people he's met. Peter Capaldi from the Fires of Pompeii, Colin Baker, right?
So let me ask you something. I'm curious. If Matt, I know there's a big if Matt Smith didn't come back, would it be a whole new character, or would it be Matt Smith as the Doctor?
Well, that's tough because we've never had that happen before.
Nope.
I'm curious how they would.
I don't think Matt Smith would come back though.
Like if he did, there's no way it would be a new character, because everybody would just be like, "Fuck the show."
Yeah.
Okay. So,
although I will say this, if you're bringing the Timeless Child storyline from season 12, shit, everything's possible now.
We'll get there.
Yeah,
So-
but it's pretty much guaranteed he's going to be in the 60th.
Oh,
Of
yeah.
course. Of course.
Yeah, but I think he's got too much going on that he could commit to actually
Yeah,
playing the Doctor.
because he's a well sought after actor. Like, I mean, he was in The Crown.
Last night in Soho.
Right, last night in Soho. He was in Terminator Genesis,
Genesis.
even though he wasn't in it much.
He's
Yeah,
going to be in a prequel to Game of Thrones.
that's right. He's doing the Game of Thrones
Yes.
prequel. He's a Targaryen,
And he's
yeah.
going to be in Morbius.
And Morbius, yeah.
Yeah, so he's got way too much going on.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. All right.
And I think he was in Swamp Thing. I think.
That one I don't know.
Yeah,
I never watched Swamp Thing.
Are we on honorable mentions?
We are, and
I
like I
don't
said, I have the one because I did enjoy the episode. Was in the Forest of the Night, but I know, can't help what I like, right?
I hate the babysitting episodes. I can't stand them. They didn't write the children to be likable in any way, shape, or form.
I like that. I like
I don't
that
think they're
episode. I like that episode because of not because of the children, obviously, but because of this idea that the planet Earth can save itself sometimes. And that's something I've been saying for years. I'm like, people are like, oh, we ruined this planet. We ruined this planet with our pollution and stuff. Like, dude, this planet's been around for billions of years before we even existed, and it's going to continue to do so billions of years after we're all dead and buried. Do you really think this planet, who took literal hits from objects from space, do you really think we're going to be the one that's going to ruin it? Like, really?
Yeah.
And as seen in this episode, the planet can protect itself.
And like the concept of its Mother Nature being
Yes!
the nurturer.
And bringing up
it's genius.
Yeah, and bringing up actual events like the Tunguska event, which is a real thing that happened, where the planet just defended itself from something that came from space, and I like that concept of the episode.
Me too. Me
Did you
too.
like Ben?
Sorry, what?
Did Ben like it?
It's okay, it's a little bit too preachy for me. But that's just me.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay.
I'm good with all the kids thing.
Does that mean we've all got the same number one? Because I noticed
might-
Please
it
tell
might-
me you do not.
It might be. I will. I
Is it
will say
listen?
this
50, is it listen?
I'm not listening.
before. Funny. Before we get on our number ones, I do just want to say this. Like, for the kids part of the episode, I could have, like, take it or leave it. If it wasn't there, would have changed how I liked the episode.
Yeah, if they weren't there, I might have actually liked it.
Yeah.
And I might be a bit of a spoiler, but does anyone have Deep Breath anywhere near their list?
Nope.
No, I will say this. For my honorable mention about that episode, I don't like the episode, but it gave us a beautiful moment between Clara and Matt Smith.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which Matt Smith filmed while he was filming his final stuff.
Yeah, and even in that scene was the Doctor calling himself in the future, saying, "This Doctor's gonna be stupid. He's gonna rely on you for everything. Please treat him like a child. Tell him what to do. I'm asking you." It was like, that's how we're starting this off. Like, you can't start off a new Doctor with the previous Doctor telling the current companion an instruction manual for the Doctor, basically. This is why I call this era of Doctor Who the training wheels era. Because right from episode 1, it feels like Clara keeps having to guide him and mother him. And like,
it's almost like the writers were like, bear with us, we're not sure what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're figuring it out. Like, it was almost like the writers knew that they didn't know what they were doing.
it's what I've been saying all along. It just became the Clara show, and the Doctor was an
You want
afterthought.
me to say it on stream? You were right, 50.
Thank you!
You're welcome.
I mean, I knew I was
mean
right,
in
but it
absolute
was good to hear
sincerity. You were right. I didn't, like, back when we were recapping, and I was like, oh, okay, this guy just has a problem with Clara. I now see
all
it.
three of
I
you
now- and I
laughed at
fully
me.
agree.
All three of you laughed at me. Now, I gotta ask you this.
Because of how animated you're getting.
I gotta ask you this, Soda. I gotta ask you.
Yes.
Do you at least get it now? Because
for sure.
right from when we did our companions
Yeah.
listing, and maybe even before that, since we
That's
met,
where I
basically.
first heard it was the companions listing.
Yeah,
that
since
was
we-
it.
As long as we've known each other, you've always been the guy who was like, What's with all the Clara hate? Why do people hate Clara so much? She's a great character. I don't
and
understand the Clara hate.
wasn't
Do
until
you
you
understand
started-
it now?
Yes, because it
You
wasn't
see it,
until
Mr. Krabs? Do you see it, Mr. Krabs? Do you see it, Mr. Krabs?
Calm the fuck down.
no,
I gotta find a way to get that clip out of the commission.
I'll just add it back in. No, it's true. I didn't understand what Clara was because nobody really explained it. Like everyone's like, "Oh, Clara's the worst." It's like, why? You explained it. I'm like, okay, I understand. And it was I had to see it because there's a lot of Capaldi's run that I do not remember because I've only seen it once, and that was 10 years ago.
Yeah, and the thing
Wait, did
is,
this season come out 10 years ago?
Almost.
No,
came
it
out in
was 2014.
almost 10 years ago. Yeah.
but here's the thing I've always been saying when you asked me about the Clara hate, and I was like, did you see the Capaldi stuff?
Yeah, and I only saw the one season 8 years ago.
That's why whenever people tell me that they love Clara, I mean, have you? That's why my first answer is because most people just saw the first half season with Matt Smith, and then they just dropped off after that.
Which is good. Like him and Clara were great together.
Yeah, but I mean, everyone just completely. Where did Jess go? Oh, okay. It's everyone just completely dropped off the show as soon as Matt Smith was gone.
Yeah.
And everyone kept blaming poor Peter Capaldi for it.
No, it wasn't.
And everyone kept saying it was Peter Capaldi's fault. And it's not Peter Capaldi's fault. It was fucking Clara. It was Clara all along.
Very nice. Actually, I will applaud that segue. Well, technically, it wasn't Clara along Steve 50. It was Stephen Moffat.
It was Stephen Moffat writing Clara.
I'm still in the camp like I don't hate Clara, but at least now I understand why. Because unlike most people who bitch about Clara, you actually take the time to explain it.
And like most people who defend Clara, you actually stuck around and watched the Capaldi stuff. Yeah, but again, most people just drop off and never touch the show again after that.
I'm not gonna lie. Was it the best season? No. Was there enough in there for me to actually enjoy it? I say there was
It's
enough.
still the Doctor being the Doctor at times.
Yeah, and even some of the stuff with Clara. And I mean, we're gonna when we talk about number one, like that's gonna be that's the episode that's the best episode of the season.
I think we might have a different number one.
But
Yeah,
see, the
maybe.
reason. Wait, but first of all, the reason I brought up Deep Breath, it's not on my list by any chance, but
Yeah.
first of all, it's our last episode with the Pasternacker gang, unfortunately. No more Strax, I'm afraid, but
Sadly.
Really?
it's a great. Yeah, I mean that's it, man. That's an
11th Doctor thing. So when
Staple.
they tend to do that. Like there are only select characters that they cross over for more than one Doctor, but for the most part, characters are with their Doctor, and that's really it.
Yep. They did, however, get their own. They
Like, this
do,
was
however,
something
get their own. They do, however, get their own spin-off in Big Finish if you're interested. But I mean, that's just it. But here's the thing: the reason I brought up the episode, we get a great setup to the next season with the Doctor looking at himself in the mirror, looking at his reflection, pondering about why he got his face, and that's one of my favorite scenes retroactively from that episode. But also, he's talking to that hobo guy that he gives him his clothes. Do you know who that guy is?
No.
That's Elizabeth Sladen's husband
Oh,
/ widower.
that's cool.
And he actually
like
did
that.
appear in an episode of the Sarah Jane Adventures as a completely different character, by the way.
Well, I would hope so.
Yeah, so that's why I wanted to bring up that episode.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
I like that.
All right, Ben. Moment of truth. You say we have different number ones. What is it?
Well, what I'm sure.
That's mine.
Oh,
I think it's pretty
okay.
much everyone had the same number one, dude.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry.
Like this was a fun episode. This was a great twist on the retelling of Rob Hood, written by Mark Gatiss himself.
Right.
I'm the Doctor, and this is my spoon. I just love the fact that they're basically redoing the man in tights scene on the
Yeah.
bridge over the river thing, and the Doctor literally fights Robin Hood with a spoon and wins because that's the Doctor for you.
Yeah, which that scene from Men in Tights is parodying from The Adventures of Robin Hood, which is what most of that movie was parodying. Great film, by the way. Really great classic film. No, it's just, I love that in this universe, everyone's like, well, Robin Hood's not real. It's a myth. Then they go back and no, Robin Hood was real, but like most stories from that time, it transitioned into a myth and nobody remembered that he was real.
Which is an actual thing. I mean, a lot of people aren't really sure whether or not King Arthur was real or not.
Yeah.
Because history wasn't, there wasn't a very good way to record history during those times.
Yeah, so
a lot of
maybe
it could. That's been the constant argument whether or not he was real.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I love this episode. It was really fun. I love anything to do with Robin Hood in general. So you see that one and Doctor Who merged, it was perfection for me.
Yeah, I
love the end when we see the woman revealed to be Maid Marian.
Right, I forgot about that reveal. I had forgot about that. It's like, oh shit, she's Maid Marian.
It was a great episode I found.
Oh, it was so much fun.
The reason I don't have that episode higher on my list is mainly because of how Clara-centric the plot is. Even the Sheriff of Nottingham saying, I put you guys in the same cell to figure out who the ringleader is, and it's fucking Clara. Like, come on. Can you oversell this even more now?
Yeah, and sometimes you just have to gloss over it 50.
I can't. Because even later in that same cell where the Doctor's trying to reach for, I can't even remember if it was his TARDIS key or if it's a screwdriver, or it was the keys to the chains keeping them. And Robin and the Doctor keep trying to reach for the key with their feet, and then falls down the drain. And then it's that stupid comedic moment of like, well, at least Clara didn't see that. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. It's like, oh.
Well, because the Robin Hood is trying to woo Clara. That happens with most of these episodes. I'm not referring just to Doctor Who. It happens, and I'd say 99% of any episode that involves going back into the past, the main female is always going to be fought after by the hero and the villain in the past. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, and even when she's got a sort of maybe boyfriend waiting at home, which is supposed to be the main dramatic moment at the end of the season, which it wasn't.
The 12th Doctor and Clara land in Sherwood Forest in 1190, where they are met by Robin Hood. Robin challenges the Doctor to a duel, which the Doctor wins by knocking Robin into a river. Clara learns that Robin is looking for his Maid Marian, but the Doctor believes there is something wrong. Robin competes in an archery contest held by the Sheriff of Nottingham, where the prize is a golden arrow. The Doctor interrupts the contest by exploding the target with a sonic screwdriver. Intrigued by the Doctor's power, the Sheriff commands his robot knights to capture the Doctor, and the Doctor allows the robots to capture him, Robin, and Clara so he can learn more about the Sheriff's plans. The Doctor and Clara learn that the Sheriff intends to use a crashed spaceship disguised as part of a castle, and its robot knights to take over the world. The Sheriff and the knights have plundered. Hey, welcome back.
Hey, welcome back.
Sorry, my surgeon called me.
Oh, everything okay?
Yeah.
Good.
This is a checkup thing, but I was like, uh-oh, am I in trouble? Not in trouble.
Well, that's good. We're
not with him anyway, maybe with 50.
Oh, yeah. We are just doing the plot of our collective number ones, which is mine and Ben's Robin of Sherwood. I'm assuming yours as well?
It's mine.
Yeah. Ben was like, I don't think we have the same one. No, we have the same one.
Well, when both of you didn't mention it at all, I was like, I'm feeling like it's probably... Sorry, the dog.
Oh.
Your canine sensors are tingling.
I know. I could only see like the vague shape, but I know I can spot a dog a mile away.
The Sheriff and the Knights have plundered the countryside to collect enough gold to repair the engine circuits, but the engines are too damaged and will create an explosion that will destroy half of England. The Doctor is initially convinced that Robin is a creation of the robots in order to give the oppressed peasants hope using the legends of Earth, but ultimately learns that he is real. Oh, Jesus! I didn't even realize that. I thought for some reason you were talking about your dog. Oh
no!
Well, I'm reading.
I mean, I do get that excited when I see my own dog.
Yeah. side tangent. I love.
Sorry,
dogs.
I've been so distracted. I've just been watching
You know,
Johnny.
no,
the whole
no problem. I
time.
love dogs. All types of dogs. I really like the lap dogs. I really do because I like lying on the couch and then having them like just come and sleep on my chest. I love it. I love it. Love it.
If
Love
Rocky
it.
did that, he'd probably crush me. I can't do that with my own dog.
Get off me!
And then you really need to talk to your surgeon.
Yeah. What happened, Rocky B?
I have to remove a dog from my bone.
Clara and Robin escape the castle, but the Doctor is taken prisoner again. He leads the prisoners in a revolt against the robots, and most of the robots are destroyed, and the prisoners flee. Robin returns to save the day, where the sheriff challenges Robin to a duel, which Robin wins by knocking the sheriff into a gold vat using a trick the Doctor taught him. The spaceship, controlled by the remaining robots, takes off, but still lacks the power to make it off the planet. The Doctor decides to fire the golden arrow into the engines to give the ship a power boost to reach orbit. Since Robin's arm is injured and the Doctor cheated during the archery contest, the Doctor, Clara, and Robin work together, which you cannot hate because she's literally just holding the bow, 50. You cannot hate that.
I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything.
Preemptive strike.
It was mostly Robin doing the heavy lifting anyway.
Okay, just putting that out there. Allowing it to reach orbit and harmlessly detonate. As he prepares to leave, the Doctor admits that Robin will be remembered as a legend rather than as a man, which Robin is content with. When the Doctor continues to find Robin's story hard to believe, Robin, having learned the Doctor's history from Clara, points out that the Doctor is of a similar background who started his adventures for the same reasons as Robin did. The Doctor and Robin mutually deny they are heroes. Robin suggests that their role is to inspire others to be heroes in their name.
They're not so different, you and I.
They're really not. This is one of those episodes that I actually would go back and rewatch on its own. The Doctor and Clara depart. The Doctor leaving Robin with Maid Marian, who was a prisoner freed in the revolt. And that's where I was like, oh, fuck, I forgot that it was her.
You were like, really? You were just like, Clara's that?
No. I remember Maid Marian. I forgot who was Maid Marian.
Ah.
Yeah. No, I forgot that it was the lady from the prison earlier.
To be fair, that happened to me too.
Yeah. Continuity. Spectacle about the reality of Robin Hood, his men, and their environment. The Doctor initially believes that he and Clara might be in a miniscope. A miniscope was featured in the third Doctor story, Carnival of Monsters. What is a miniscope?
It's sort of a device that just creates environments and steals living creatures and puts them in those environments to run around in. And the Carnival of Monsters was run by this guy who traveled from planet to planet, showing off different alien creatures from distant worlds to unsuspecting paying customers. And the Doctor and Joe were in that inside the SS Bernice. By the way, that was the environment that the TARDIS just landed inside the miniscope on the SS Bernice, which was kind of on a loop on the thing.
I have a question about this episode. At any point, did you guys have a feeling that Robin himself might be a robot with the other guys?
Yes, both viewings, because again, it'd been a long time that I'd forgotten a lot of it. So yeah, I did question that.
Yeah.
Well, it's because it's set up that way, right?
The episode does a good job convincing you that that's the case.
Yeah. Fun little trivia. This episode first aired 2 days after my 27th birthday, September 6th, 2014.
Right.
Cool. And another fun trivia, this is the third time that an arrow has been shot at the TARDIS.
Yep.
On the show.
One, Day of the Doctor.
Nope.
No. Sorry. No, Shakespeare codes involved Queen Elizabeth. What's the other one?
Silver Nemesis. It's a 7th Doctor episode.
Oh, okay. So that was the first time. Okay, cool. So 50. What is your list? See, I didn't forget.
Yeah, first time for everything. But, okay, my number 5, I gotta say this, not one of my favorite episodes, but it's the two-parter of Dark Water and Death in Heaven. And yes, I begrudgingly count those as 2 episodes, even though I hate everything to do with Clara and Danny in that episode. And even...
You don't say.
I mean, dude, when Clara is given a phone call to talk to supposedly Danny's deceased figure, and they're just sitting there talking to each other, and she's like, this could be a trick. Tell me something that only Danny would know. And all he says was, I love you. And she's like, that's not enough. Tell me something else. What was your mother's name? What was my mother's name? When did we first meet? When did we have our first date? I don't remember. I love you. And that's basically their relationship as a whole. They know nothing about one another.
Yeah.
Only that, like, Danny's like, I love you. Okay, what else? I love you. What else? I love you. And it's like, do you even know this person that you quote unquote love her as much as you do? And right then in the follow-up episode, when she's doing a terrible job trying to convince the Cyberman that she's the doctor by just spouting out random information that she could have heard the doctor say at one point or another.
Well, yeah.
So annoying.
Like, seriously, listen to the doctor and just think about how nonsensical he sounds sometimes. So it's believable.
But I mean, everything he says kind of did happen. But when she's trying to convince the Cybermen that she's the doctor, and they clearly don't fall for it because they're smarter than this. And then Cyber Danny shows up, and he's like, "You are Clara Oswald. You were born and this and he says all this random information about her that she recognizes to be true." I'm like, you couldn't have said that 5 minutes ago over the phone. Like, now you remember all of a sudden. Really? Well, I mean, really, Steven? But that aside, the reveal of the Master, and the reveal that the Cybermen are involved. First of all, I don't know what is Steven's whole deal by making the Master obsessed with Cybermen, because it happens again later in the Stephen Moffat era. Why is the Master so intertwined with Cybermen all of a sudden? In the classic series, he used to be involved with the Daleks a lot, but obviously events from the TV movie and then the following Time War, him and the Daleks really aren't on the best of terms right now. Or her, I should say. But when the Doctor is like, I feel like there's something I'm missing, something so obvious, and he goes through the door closes, and it's the eyes of the Cybermen on the actual door as the 3W logo, and we're like, holy shit! And it's the Cybermen theme song playing. And when they come out of the St. Paul Cathedral, mimicking almost shot for shot the events of the invasion, the second Doctor story, which was the first time we actually got to see Unit and the Brigadier being the Brigadier. It was like, yes, give me that. And the reveal of Missy as the Master. And I love all of that. And I love the Doctor being the president of planet Earth. Come on.
Yeah, it's a great concept.
I love that.
So what we haven't revealed is that we actually got 50 to sit down with Stephen Moffat. And unfortunately, this is what happened when they met.
Yeah, I'm Bart because I kept
no.
Clara.
You're Homer.
No, I'm Bart because I kept shitting on Clara.
Oh, I thought I was going at you were choking Stephen for why the writing decisions.
I love Stephen. I mean, that's what you don't understand. I fucking love Stephen. But then he goes and does bullshit like Clara stuff.
I'm just having fun, 50.
Yeah, I know. Anyways, and I love the whole conflict that Doctor was in the entire season was the question he kept bringing up. Is he a good man? And that's really the main conflict of the 12th Doctor in and of itself. The Doctor trying to reconcile himself, basically. Is he a good man? Is he doing good things for the wrong reasons? Is he doing bad things for the wrong reasons? And this is the episode where he finally figures it out that he's not a good man. He's not a bad man. He's not a president, and he's not a hero. He's an idiot with a box and a screwdriver, and I love that moment of realization where he finally comes to terms with who he is. And I love the Master Doctor dynamic of Missy trying to convince him that they're not so different. They're not different, but they're two opposite sides of the same coin. And that's what I love this episode so much. Again, not for the stupid Clara stuff, but it's for
Pretty much, let's just say this: any episode that 50 lists, he likes not because of Clara.
yeah, because
Let me ask you something, Randy. Everything you like about this episode, that's only important to you. That's like me.
I did like I said, the reveal of the Cybermen, because I mean, okay, they take they take dead corpses and stick them inside exoskeletal bodies. I missed that the first time watching it, but then when it's revealed that it's actually Cybermen, I'm like, that makes perfect sense. So that's the stuff I love about this episode.
It's a great way,
and the reveal of the Master.
It's definitely a great way to explain this version of the Cyberman.
Yep. And it's a new design of the Cyberman head. We got the bodies of the Cybermen in the Matt Smith era, but this is the first time we see new Cyberman head and new Cyberman voices, which is fun.
Okay, so what's your number 4?
My number 4 is actually hold on. Just gotta
carry the 2, add the 3.
Yeah.
Math is fun.
Yeah, math is fun. We loves math.
Yeah. Who all loves math?
I do!
Sorry.
Why am I forgetting my number 4? I know. Hold on.
Is it listen?
No!
You talking about me poking the bear? Oi.
I had it a second ago. Where did it go? You're not helping, by the way.
Do you want me to read you up the list of episodes?
Yes.
Okay.
I got it.
Okay.
Okay, so deep breath. Into the Dalek. Robot of Sherwood. Gonna skip this one. Time Heist. The Caretaker. Kill the Moon. Mummy on the Orient Express. Flatline. In the
Flatline, that's the one. Flatline.
Okay.
That's the one.
Like, should I say listen?
No, you should not. It's Flatline for the epic speech, which I did earlier.
Nice.
Again, not for the Clara stuff. It's for the line. It's for the speech. Number 3, the Caretaker.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the Doctor being the Doctor, doing doctory stuff, and Danny Pink and Clara just being there to ruin everything. Number 2, Mummy on the Orient Express.
Fun episode, isn't it?
Again, putting Clara in a box, which is where she belongs, and just letting the Doctor be the Doctor. And number 1, Time Heist.
Yeah.
Oh.
The Bank of Carabraxos. That's
Very
a fun
nice.
episode. And again, it's the Doctor figuring things out on his own. And Clara's just there to be Clara because you need a Clara person there. Now can we talk about listen, please?
Yes, let's get this out of the way. Let's do this because it's been building up to it. So Jess,
why do you love this episode?
in 50,
And follow-up
why
question,
you
why
have
do
a
you
good
hate
time?
me?
I don't hate you. I'm going to start with the follow-up question because that's the most important one. I didn't go into it being like 50's going to hate this. I said listen and then watched your reaction and went, oh no. I was very scared that I was going to like something that you did. Yeah, exactly like that. I like the horror-themed Doctor Who episodes. I get that it's very Clara-centric. I get that. But it's from a writing standpoint, it is some of the best writing in this whole season.
For the horror stuff?
Yeah, for the horror stuff. In terms of pacing, all of that kind of stuff, it works for me.
It's an interesting concept. It really
I
is.
see that. I understand that.
I'm not saying the storyline itself was great, but in terms of how epic the writing has been, this is one of the ones where it felt like they had a clear sense of direction going into it. They knew what they wanted to do. They knew the overarching storyline.
They wanted to make Clara bigger than she already was.
Yeah, I get that. And then it ties.
Oh, sorry. Finish your thought.
And then it ties back to Day of the Doctor with the whole barn thing because that's where the Doctor used to sleep.
So
that's where he takes the moment to a barn.
which is a pretty cool reveal. This is from IMDb, and Stephen Moffat discussed the episode in an interview, saying, "My impulse starting in that was just the idea, what does he do when he's got nothing to do? Because he'd throw himself off a building if he thought it'd be interesting on the way down. He's fascinated by anything, and here he's with nothing to do, so he just goes out poking things with a stick until something bites." And I think that's quite interesting, isn't it? Sort of. There's a thrill seeker aspect. That's what he was trying to go for with this episode.
And what he ended up coming up with is another freaking Clara story, where it's just okay. So there is a horror element in there. There's clearly something in the TARDIS who wrote "listen" on the whiteboard. There's clearly something on the bed underneath the sheets. Was it actually another child in some bed sheets? That's what the episode leads you to believe. There's clearly some sort of mystery, something. The Doctor's onto something. The entire episode, the Doctor is onto something, and then it leads all the way to the future with a character named Orson Pink, which is apparently a descendant of Danny Pink, which never happens anyway because Danny Pink dies at the end. And spoiler alert, so does Clara. So what the fuck, Steven? What is the deal with Orson fucking Pink? And how does the episode end? Hold on. You've been talking long enough. Okay? Where does the episode end?
Forgot that I could do that.
Where does the episode end? Where does it leave us? It was Clara in the barn talking to the Doctor and, stroking him. And the thing grabbing the Doctor's leg at under the bed, that was fucking Clara. Okay, and it was Clara being there for the Doctor's entire life, ever since he was a child, the Timeless Child, obviously. But it was just this Clara sitting next to him on the bed, stroking him, even quoting the first Doctor, saying that fear makes companions of all of us. And it's just been Clara with the stupid broken soldier figure that she gave Danny, and then he gave Orson, and then she gave it to the Doctor, and it was this whole episode just completely abandoned the horror aspect that was good about this episode, and it all just came back around to center around Clara essentially being the Doctor's mother. And why won't you just go ahead and say it, Stephen? Why don't you just go ahead and make Clara the Doctor's mother? Okay, she's the character who was covering her eyes in the end of time. Why don't you just go out and say it? It was Clara all along. And that's the point I'm going to keep coming back to.
Okay, so 50 is actually on an island unto himself, because this is according to Wikipedia. Listen received critical acclaim from critics.
I don't give a fuck!
Okay, I have a question. I have a genuine question. If it wasn't Clara and they actually had a different reveal, would you have liked this?
Sorry, he was yelling and I had him muted.
Even Johnny left the couch because he was tired of hearing me talk about Clara.
Well, I don't know if that's talking.
If it wasn't Clara and it was anything else, would you have actually found this episode good?
I mean, what's the idea of this whole episode just being centered around the Doctor being a scared child, afraid of the monsters under the bed? That was basically, if you listen to the episode, that's what Clara says.
Everyone was at one point a scared child, 50, even a Time Lord.
Not the Doctor. Not the Doctor. You don't do stuff like that to the Doctor.
So now I'm going to mute you so I can get through this. So Listen received critical acclaim from critics, with many praising Moffat's script, McKinnon's direction, and the performances of Capaldi, Coleman, and Anderson, who played the little boy. It received an appreciation index of 82 out of a possible 100. Labeling the episode as possibly Stephen Moffat's most terrifying episode to date. I can see 50 boiling. Neela Debnath of The Independent praised Coleman's performance, saying that Clara was back on top of her game. They called it the most powerful episode of Doctor Who from Moffat to date. A moving piece of drama, as well as a terrifying piece of Saturday night television. Digital Spy praised the episode, awarding it a perfect 5 out of 5 and summing it up as smart, scary, and superb. They praised Moffat's script and the developments of Clara's character and closed the review by stating, intelligent, romantic, and just scary enough. Listen is either a moody tale of the supernatural or it's a clever reflection on the mind's own ability to fool and govern itself. But either way, it's brilliant. Radio Times labeled the episode as the most conceptual episode in the entire history of Doctor Who and stated, "You're blowing our minds, Moffat." Writing for The Guardian, Dan Moffat called the episodes phenomenally good and suggested the script was one of Moffat's best effort. The AV Club awarded the episode an A grade, calling it the best episode in years, and saying that they might run out of superlatives for this one. They stated that it's the best.
I feel like he's starting to make things up.
They stated it is the best story Stephen Moffat has written for the show since the 11th hour, and that they might be willing to go still further back than that in search of an episode of his that outdoes tonight's entry. They praised the analysis and development of the Doctor's character and closed the review saying, "Listen is just about the most honest exploration of the Doctor we've seen in 51 years. That it does all this without judgment, but rather with love and understanding is what makes it special. It's what makes it Doctor Who." Daily Mirror awarded the episode a 4 out of 5, stating Doctor Who should be tapping into your fear. Thank you, Jackass, made me lose my spot. Shit. Doctor Who should be about tapping into your fears, making you hide behind the cushion of a sofa, and Listen delivers this in spades. Mac Rogers of Slate praised Listen as the best Doctor Who episode in years, arguing that it proves that deployed cleverly enough, Doctor Who can do anything. Similarly, writer Paul Cornell praised the episode's interrogation of the Doctor's character in version of series cliches, suggesting it might be the best Doctor Who story yet. Nominated for a Bram Stoker Award, becoming the first Doctor Who episode to be nominated for the award, and it was also nominated for the Hugo Award for Best Dramatic Presentation Short Film. So short to say 50, you're on an island of your own, apparently.
I don't give a fuck. I agree with the points taken. Don't use a great writing episode like this to downgrade the Doctor and elevate Clara, which is exactly what Stephen Moffat's been doing since he brought this stupid character into the show. Like, if they tackled the same issues, if they tackled the same issues without just downgrading the Doctor to being this scared little child and Clara being the motherly guardian, it's a great episode.
So the thing that I've gathered from this episode that we're doing is that you just hate this Doctor and Clara's dynamic.
Yes. I hate the fact that Clara keeps being above the Doctor, which, spoiler for next season, that's what's going to be her downfall in the end.
Yeah.
And it bites her so hard on the ass. Sorry if I'm being inappropriate, but that's what it is. It blows back in her face in such a magnificent way.
Said that. I have heard that a lot, that Clara really truly screws herself over in the ninth season.
Because she's trying to be the Doctor. And like I said from the beginning, the companion does not out-Doctor the Doctor. That's why Clara ends up where she ends up.
I have a question.
I just thought this was funny. Everyone else breaking up, you're just like biding your time.
I know I'm snapping at it, but I'm curious. How do you feel about that Moon episode?
I like it.
Forgettable.
Oh, good.
I like it because, again, I like it because right from the start, it's the Doctor being the Doctor, testing the gravity of the moon by stepping up and down, using the yo-yo while he's conversing. The Doctor's always several steps ahead of you at any given point in time. He knows something's wrong with the moon. That's why he's testing it out while trying to make Clara believe. Trying to make those astronauts believe something. He's doing something else. And I love the fact that he figures it out, that what is wrong with the moon, that the moon has actually been an egg this whole time, which is just a fun concept to begin with, but still, it's a great representation of the Doctor being the Doctor and Clara just being stupid Clara again. And it proves my point that as soon as the Doctor leaves, Clara's like, I don't know what to do. I'm only pretending to be the Doctor. I didn't know what to do. I'm not really the Doctor. I'm just a stupid teacher from the 21st century. You can't You can't dump this responsibility on me. And even when the doctor comes back, which, first of all, really, Clara, did you really think he was going to abandon you there on your own, leave you there with a school kid?
I feel like you would have.
Yeah, you would have.
I mean, yeah, but I'm not the doctor, clearly. But did you really think the doctor was going to leave you? Like, there's some things that humans just need to learn to do on their own. The doctor can't interfere as much. And the fact that she goes off on him when he brings her back home, and she yells at him, and he's like, "Don't you do that to me! You don't do this to me! I'm better than this!" And there's a line in the next season. Again, spoilers for next season. But there's a line in one of the episodes of next season where, I'm not even making this up, she literally says, well, the doctor knows he's about to die. He says that, he tells Clara that he's about to die. And you know what that bitch says? She's like, not with me. Die with whoever comes after me. You do not die with me. Like, who the fuck are you anyway? And this whole idea that she thinks she's owed something, she even says that in... right after Danny dies, she's like, I'm owed. You owe me. You got to bring Danny back. Like, go to hell, which is exactly what the doctor says to her. And even Missy picks that up, and she says that he would go to hell and back if she asked him to, which he does. And she even references the fact of his chain being yanked. And it's like, oh, fucking Clara. Grabbing the doctor by the balls and just dragging him along. Just give me a fucking break.
Well, we're gonna get that break. So that's it for series 8. Next season, 50. Will you be? I just want to ask this up. Do you hate? I don't know how to fucking word this.
Just say it.
Season 9 is better than season 8.
Well, no, we got that. He did say it was better. What I'm saying is, are we going to expect more rants like this for season 9?
You can expect that for as long as Clara is on screen.
Okay.
Okay, then. I'll have the new one ready. So, yes, next season we will be doing season 9, which thankfully for 50 is Clara's last full season as a companion.
I'm bummed out about that. I'm going to miss
He's
it.
gonna like fist pumping when we cover her episode where she dies.
50 looks like we just sucked all the happiness out of him.
It's like the end of the Breakfast Club. No, it's
Yeah.
not. Believe it or not.
Yeah. Don't you forget about me. Originally offered to Billy Idol.
Really?
Yep. And then he ended up covering it years later. But yeah, so we're going to start with him so we can give his voice a rest. 50, where can everybody find you?
Yay!
Okay. You can find me on my YouTube channel, 50 Shades of Geek. You can find me occasionally on Twitch, 50 Shades of Gaming. You can Geek without the F. You can find me recapping the greatest show in the galaxy minus Clara on this very channel, on this very show with these wonderful people every week. You can find me occasionally. You can find me every Saturday on Get Sweaty with Ben and Soda, and you can find me going for that Aliens game title on next week's All Night Taco Stand Star Wars edition. You can find occasionally on Mount Moda and stuff. And if you want to see me play the worst Inner Geekdom trivia game I've ever played in my life, it's right there on the Outlaw Nation Patreon, on the Outlaw Nation Trivia League.
All right. And Jess, where can everybody find you?
You can find me hosting the Alien Game Championship with Frenchie from this channel next Thursday, November 18th. And then we'll be kicking off the all-night taco stand. So that should be lots of fun. It's always fun.
And Ben, where can everybody find you?
You can find me right here on this channel. Shooting Breeze, Get Sweaty, recapping Mount Smalldown. The Smalldown show where we go into players' careers. Last week when does it come out?
Sorry, which? When did what come out?
When does this episode come
Monday.
out? So this past weekend we got to interview Thomas Hopper.
Yes.
His title belt. That was really fun. You should go rewatch that. We have a blast. This coming up, we get to interview the person going against Mike Parker. No, Robert Parker, right? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And that's going to be a fun time. Come check that out. Saturdays at 1 p.m.
And as for myself, you can find me on my personal Instagram and Twitter at soda_the_saxman. You can find me on every show on this channel. You can find us this coming up Thursday. We're going to be doing the third all-night taco stand, which will be opening up with the aforementioned Star Wars Alien or Not trivia game for bragging rights, pretty much. And then after that's done, the rest of us are just going to be hanging out.
Bragging rights only?
Well, there's also a championship involved. And
There's also a belt, I have heard.
yeah.
You
So
did
you're gonna
reveal the
have to
belt.
check in that episode to find out. And then after that's done, we're just going to be sitting around and going for as long as we can. I'll be on there. Jess will be on there. 50 will be on there. Ben will be on there. So many people, some of your favorite personalities from around our commentator sphere are going to be on. So definitely come check that out. So on behalf of myself, Ben, Jess, Clara, and 50.
Oh, no.
We will see you next week on Recapping Space and Time. Have a good evening, folks.